Hi there. So for my project, I wanted to create an API that could serve data on people's various custom orders at quick service restaurants like Chipotle or And Pizza. And I came up with four models here that are related in various ways that I think would allow us to query the data and get some pretty good deep results based on the information that's inside. Orders here is the kind of the model that holds all the relational information to users, chains, and also the order content. Orders represents the properties that a custom order could share across many different restaurants, like the name of the order when it took place and the description, whereas order content is more about the specific ingredients or toppings that you can get at a unique restaurant because all of those are going to be different. Orders is also going to hold the users that have placed that order, that specific order, and then it's also going to connect us to the chain that order belongs to, so we can gather more information about the restaurant chain, and we can even work backwards from the certain ingredients to get there. So let's take a look at how those four things are connected. So here, chain is going to be related to the orders. This is the orders kind of holding model here. It's related to chain, it's related to users, and it's related to order content. Order content is kind of unique here because it's not referencing a specific order content schema. That's going to change with every restaurant. So it's referencing this path here, content schema, which is going to point us to one of these two right now order content schemas where all the properties will be specific just to that restaurant. So if we take a look at some of the routes here, we can open up the API and just get a simple list of all the chains and all the orders that are associated with each chain. We can go deeper and open up a specific chain name, in this case Chipotle, and now it's going to populate all the orders with the actual order toppings that someone would have, a user may have inputted. And then on the order side, we can obviously look at all orders, and we can also look at all orders by chain. But one thing that's kind of interesting here is we can kind of do a deep query that lets you look at a specific subset of orders based on a certain topping or ingredient that they might have. So in this case, we're looking for the topping or the ingredient beans, and specifically black beans. So in our data set, that's only going to happen at Chipotle, but it allows us to open up the order and the order content and specifically look for beans, black beans, and only resurface those results. And the way that's being done is with sort of a standard GET request, but then the request here is repopulating a new JSON array after it's fully populated the nested data, and then it's giving us a new array back. So we can kind of query in like a more advanced way, even if it might be less efficient. On the user side, we can take a look at all users, and again, we can kind of open up their order data and see the exact ingredients if we wanted to, and they can have orders across any chain and multiple chains. We can quickly create a user by first name. Oh, whoops, let's do that over here in Postman. So yeah, we can create a user. There's a new user. Same kind of thing. We can delete a user. And that user's now going to be gone. And then here's a fourth controller that I created to kind of simulate what might be like the ideal data flow. Let's take a look at it here in VS Code. What might be the ideal data flow if an actual user was to use this app and submit like their first custom order. So this is going to combine a number of different methods that we will create different that we'll add to each model or update existing data in each model. And what it's doing is it's going to first create the user, create their inputted order, and then it's going to have to determine which order content schema to pass the additional order information to. And the way it's doing that is just by dynamically requiring that document based on what's the order schema as part of the JSON file that's submitted by the user. From there, it's going to create that unique order content, now knowing that in this case it's going to be an and pizza order. Then it's going to find the associated chain, which is and pizza, and it's going to push this new order to that chain. So now when we reference that chain, we'll be able to find that specific order. And then it's going to also make sure that that order is referencing the chain, so we can access the data from both ways. And so it does all of this sort of in one go. So we have all the user's information, we have their order information, we have their order content or their toppings, and the chain and the user are updated to reflect that the chain has a new order and the user has a new order. So as an example, if we wanted to see what that looked like, let's say we had this data set that was maybe inputted through a form on a site, and we've got our chain name and our content schema there that we can reference, knowing where the user inputted the data. And as soon as we hit create here, it's going to return that data to us. And if we want to take a look at all users, we'll be able to find this new user here at the very bottom. And if we were to open up their order ID here, we'd see that it was that order that they just submitted.